Newton Euler method. Unlike the Euler-Lagrange, which relies on kinetic energy and potential energy, this one you require to draw the free body diagram. So what I've drawn here is a free body diagram of one single link. Okay, so the link is one of many links. There are some links before it, some links after it. Let me just show you what I mean. This link is shown here. So this is, let's say, the ith link. It's connected to the I minus 1th link, I plus 1th link, and the ith link is shown here. So what you need to do in order to draw free body diagrams is replace the effect of the connection between link I and I plus 1 with a force and a torque, and that's done here. So there's a force and a torque. And the reason why there's a rotation matrix here is that we try to convert all the forces from frame I plus 1 to frame I. So this force F is in frame I plus 1. So you have that F I plus 1 and torque I plus 1. And so by multiplying with the right rotation matrix, you get it in frame I. Similarly, there is a force on from link I minus 1. And since we write forces always in frame I, there's no rotation matrix because that force and that torque is frame I. So the trick behind making this equation tractable is the fact that you always write forces and velocities linear and angular in frame I and I plus 1 and so on. So that's the forces. Then there is the body frame. So this thing here is the body frame. And remember, the body frame is attached at the joint, and it has some random orientation. And then there's the body frame for the next link, I plus 1. Okay. There is gravity. So there is a force or external force due to gravity, which is shown over here. It acts at the point center of mass, so CI. And the location of the center of mass is PC with respect to this point. This is the local position because it's with respect to frame I. And then we have this PI plus 1 with respect to I, which is basically giving you the position of the body frame of link I plus 1 with respect to I. So there are a lot of things going on here. And I put different colors showing that they're different things. So frames are in blue, external forces are in red, and the position of coordinate, the 2 points we're interested in is the position of frame I plus 1 with respect to I, which is PI plus 1, and the center of mass is shown with orange. Okay, so now we'll go to figuring out how to derive the equations using Newton Euler. Okay, so this Fi is different from this Fi. Actually, I should have made a better effort to drawing this. This is a lowercase f. And this here is an uppercase f. So this is the force on the force due to the acceleration of the center of mass. So mass times acceleration or velocity dot. And n represents the sort of the inertial force. So it's J. I think I've used a different notation, right? I've used I for this because J is going to be confusing with Jacobi. So let me just rewrite that. Just, I think I don't have the primes here. So IB is what we need here, and then IB. And then we explicitly wrote this as omega BI. Just check something here. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is it's going to cause a lot of clutter if I try to write omega as this is in body frame. All the angular velocities in body frame. Actually, it doesn't matter here. You can just keep it as omega I because maybe I should write it this way. So this omega I is to be interpreted as omega I with respect to I. So now it's just definitely body frame because it's I with respect to I. Right? If it is I with respect to 0, it will be in world frame. But because that I superscript and I subscript, it's a lot of clutter, I'm ignoring the superscript. Okay, and that is true for all these variables. Everything here is actually, there's an uh, I, and so on. Okay, so that's just help us to keep the equations slightly more concise, those two uppercase Fi, uppercase Ni. Now, what we need to do is there is a force balance. This is basically comes from Newton's laws, F equals ma. So we do the force balance for link I. So the link is shown there. So the force balance, here you can see that's lowercase f again, uppercase f, and then mg. So if you take this body as a whole, and if you try to do equilibrium of all forces, so you'll have Fi, other force is mi, gi here. Another force is ri plus 1, Fi plus 1, which is here. And then this force F, which I've written here, is the force due to the inertia or the acceleration of the mass. Okay, so all the things are counted for. Similarly, for torque balance, there's a torque here, is the torque which comes due to the interaction between the two links, but I need to put it in frame I plus frame I. That's why this rotation matrix. Then there's a contribution due to R cross F, sorry, P cross uh, so F. Okay, so this, okay, so I should be, this torque balance is written about point Ci. Okay, so how do you do torque balance? You obviously have to do it about a certain point, right? Here we chose the point to be Ci. Ci is the center of mass. So those two are fine, but this comes from the fact that this is Pc, this is Fi. So this part comes because you need to do the cross product of Pc times Fi, right? So moment about C. And then the other part, we have Ri plus 1 I F I plus 1. And then we need this distance. So that distance is Pi plus 1 minus Pc. Pi plus 1 being the distance from this point to that point. So that too. Pi plus 1 minus Pc. I think I'm missing something here. Let me just quickly check. I think there's a Ri plus 1 which is missing there. This should be R I plus 1 I. Okay, I think it looks fine now. Okay, so that's Newton's laws, those two equations. Remember, those equations would be for every link, and we'll get to every link in just a bit. Okay, now, if you see these equations, there's something here which I've not yet defined. So I still need omega, right? I need Vc dot, I need omega I dot. Those have not been defined. So I need to define those. This is where we'll go back to our differential kinematics. Remember, we had done differential kinematics where we talked about velocity propagation, angular velocity propagation. In this case, you need to do a little bit more. You need to find angular acceleration, so omega dot and Vc dot. So that is going to be a bunch of other formulas. So velocity and acceleration. There are two cases. Joint I is prismatic and joint I is revolute. same arguments which I'm going to discuss for the revolute joint hold for prismatic. Let's just look at the revolute joint. Okay, so what this does is essentially the same thing we had from differential kinematics, same as diff kinematics or velocity. We had seen this formula there. This is not a new formula. Basically relates the angular velocity of frame I minus 1 with that of frame I. Okay, given the joint degree of freedom or qi dot. And then what you need to do in order to find the rate of change of omega I, you need to take this expression and take its derivative. So you can see that if you take the derivative of this part, you get omega I dot, but then there's chain rule. So you need to take the derivative of this part. When you take the derivative, you actually end up getting omega cross term. So I'll not get into the derivation, but this is what comes out from the angular acceleration, and then linear velocity of I, which is basically the frame, right, is that expression where this is basically the angular acceleration or linear acceleration of frame I. So if you go back here, this is basically the rate of change of the second derivative of I. Okay. And then from that, you can find the velocity of C. This is basically, if you see this formula, this is a well-known formula. V equals V0 plus omega cross R plus omega dot cross R. If you've taken any course on uh, dynamics of machinery where they talks about chains, that's a common formula. It's exactly the same formula over here for a revolute joint. In order to derive this formula, this derivation apart, if you knew this formula, if you would apply it the same way, what this formula is doing is that it is computing the velocity of this point given the velocity of this point. So velocity of this point is velocity of this point plus omega cross R omega dot I. So that's how it comes. And then I'll not get into the detail of prismatic joint. This is the formula for prismatic joint. Okay, skip the derivation. But now that we have computed, or we know the force torque balance, which is basically dynamics, and we have the linear angular velocity, how do we proceed? Well, what we need to do is we need to do two recursions. Now, one recursion we've already talked about. So how to use these equations. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to do a forward recursion for velocity and acceleration. We've seen this before when we talked about a manipulator. The velocity of the base link is always 0, 0, 0. The acceleration of the base link is 0, 0, 0. Angular velocity of the base link is 0, 0, 0. Okay. Now, once we know that, because it's a fact, right? Because this point is 0, we can use recursion to compute V1 dot omega 1 dot so on. Okay. Because remember that the formula we have is Vi omega I Vi dot omega I dot is some function of Vi minus 1 omega I minus 1 Vi minus 1 dot omega I minus 1 dot. But for I equals 1, this is known because that is the same as this. So if you put V0 omega 0 acceleration 0, I'll write that. P dot 0 is 0, 0, 0. Because we know the function at I equals 1, we can find the velocity, linear and angular, using this formula, and then you just keep doing this, right? So this way you'll get all the velocities. You'll propagate from, you'll go from here all the way there. So velocity goes v omega. This is the forward recursion. You go forward from the base all the way up. But we need to find the forces eventually. To find the forces, we need to go backwards. There's a backward recursion too. Backward recursion for forces, torques. Okay, so how does the backward recursion work? So the last link has no force on it. The force is 0, 0, 0, and the torque is 0, 0, 0. So the nth link will have a force of 0, 0, 0. The torque would be 0, 0, 0. I think I used n for that, right? I used torque. Okay. So torque is 0, 0, 0. So the formula which we have here is telling us what is the force at link I and the torque at link I given some other function which depends on various parameters, but also depends on f I plus 1 t I plus 1. If you go back to the formula, you can see that this torque and this force depends on I plus 1 force, and then this torque depends on I plus 1. Right? Once you know this force, you can substitute it here. So you need to do this first and then this. So that way, what we need to do here is we know I plus 1 equals n. We kind of know this forces, and so we can find the force at I minus 1, so n minus 1, n minus 2, and so on. So you go backward recursion. So the forward recursion gives you velocities, backward recursion gives forces. Once you have all that, all you need to do is for the revolute joint, the equations of motion, which is what we're after, will be inside torque. So the torque here would have, so force here is 3 numbers, fx, fy, fz. Torque is 3 numbers, tau x, tau y, tau z. So to get the torque or the equations of motion, you need to look at the degree of freedom which corresponds to the axis. So whatever the axes are, that will give you the equation. So torque 1, we need to find, it's a good way to say this, n1, where n being the axis, torque 2, n2, so on. So n1 is the axis of motion for q1 dot. Okay, and I'll show you how this works. So that